So, blended course design explained. So, I've been asked several times, I just don't get it. How does this blended course thing really work? So, I'm going to quickly show you how it works. So, when you look at a traditional face to face class, typically you might have a 2-day-a-week class. Let's use that scenario. Tuesday class, and you have Thursday class. And there's all kinds of different activities that might take place in that class. It would be a combination of the teacher doing things and the students doing things. So you can see here, and it's not really relevant what activities I've chosen here, just that I've chosen some activities. And we have an hour and 15 minutes on Tuesday. We generally start out with a little lecture from the teacher, explaining what's going on in the class for this week. We might review some content or the text chapters that we're assigned to read. We might do that for about 10 minutes. That's the teacher guiding that, giving that instruction. And then you might say, all right, let's break out into a group. And for 15 minutes, we're going to do some sort of group activity, and then that's students interacting with each other. You might later decide that you'll do some guided reading, or in an English class like I teach, I might have students read essays, example essays, and spend 20 minutes reading and discussing those essays, whether in a large group or a small group, but it's a great activity for students to do. Then I might give them some practice. We teach grammar, so I might say, hey, here's some practice activities, so 15 minutes of in-class practice. And then I would end the class by summing things up and preparing for the next class by lecturing for about 5 minutes or so. And then on a Thursday, I have another hour and 15 minutes of class time. So I divide that up. I do a little lecture again, 10 minutes. I might, in this class, do a peer review group activity. So for 30 minutes, students are interacting and engaging with each other. I might have them begin the drafting of their essay and give them a lot of in-class writing time as I walk around the class and look at their writing and talk to them about it. And then, of course, I can end the class again with some assignment instructions. You're going to have to do an assignment while you're gone, and this is what I need for you to do. So that's just a quick rundown of a traditional class. Makes sense. We're all used to doing these types of activities, active learning, a little bit of lecture, so forth. Now, we have to consider, what do students do outside of class? Well, we give them homework. So on Tuesday, we might have some homework, and on Thursday, we might have some homework. Typically, that can be anything from reading chapters, doing grammar practice, doing some pre-writing for an essay that you might do, or any other various types of assignments that you might have your students doing. But we gauge the amount of homework that we give our students based on the time that they have in this week period. So we're good at this. We're experts. We know exactly how much to give them. And this seems to be about a good amount. Now, what happens with blended classes? Well, first off, we don't have 2 classes anymore. We only have Tuesday in class, and then there's no class on Thursday. So that hour and 15 minutes that I had on Thursday is now gone. And I have to use that hour and 15 minutes and add it to my hour and 15 minutes on Tuesday. So now I have 2.5 hours of content and things and activities to do in an hour and 15-minute class. How are we going to do that? It's almost impossible. So what happens? Well, what happens with blended courses is that, first off, we can't make any changes yet because we still have to consider that we already have homework. So we can't just make changes willy-nilly, right? We have to consider this is the homework that we said initially was the perfect amount of homework for our students. Well, bad blended design equals more homework and less instruction. So what ends up happening is we cut out things because we no longer can do it. We don't have enough time in this face-to-face class. I only have an hour and 15 minutes. What do I do? So I've cut out these things here. And then what else have I done? Well, I've added these items here to the homework list. So I've increased the homework for my students. Activities that were once guided by the instructor with clear instructions and walking around the room and helping them is now just pawned off. More homework. And then I'm also leaving out content as well. That's bad blended design. So, good blended design, what does that look like? Well, here you can see that I've added a whole nother element to the class. So I'm not trying to eliminate anything, and I'm not trying to dump more homework onto my students. What I'm doing here is I'm deciding what activities will I continue to do in class, and what activities can I create online instruction with. Lecture is always a good option for moving to online instruction. So I can take my 10-minute lecture that I was planning to do in a Tuesday or Thursday class, record some sort of a video or lesson using tools like Tegrity or SoftChalk or any other tool that's out there. There's so many, and I can create this lesson. I can also recreate this activity where students were being guided through the content that we might be studying or even a text. So I'm not just giving it to them to do on their own. I can create some sort of a lesson to walk them through that process again. I can also move some of the guided practice activities online. Instead of just making it homework, I can figure out a way to make that an online instruction as well. So the key in creating good blended design is deciding what works better remaining in class or what works better as online instruction, and not just throwing it into the laps of our students who are often already struggling. And if we want to start giving them less class time and more homework, we're not doing them justice. So here is the key to good blended design, and that's creating online instruction.